Alright, welcome back everybody, and today we're going to be tying a scud-style Czech Nymph. So this will be on a Hanak competition original Czech Nymph hook. This happens to be a size 12. So we're just going to start off, and I've got some of these are metallic Zonker strips. This is a metal adhesive strip. So I've just cut off a thin strip, maybe a 1/4 centimeter wide. So I'm just going to wrap this around the base of the hook shank. I'm going to keep a nice tight taper to it. Purpose almost all the way to the top, and I'm just going to snip this end away, and I'll do so for the other side as well. So you can see what this looks like here. It's a very tight taper looking. So if I want, I can even wrap a second layer on, which I'm not going to do today. I'm not tying a fly that needs to sink too much. So once I've proceeded to do that, I've got a Veevus 11mm, it's a Tinsel. This is in silver rose pearl. And so I'll just cut myself a quick strip off this. This is going to become the back shell of my fly. So I'll tie this on with a 10-aught Veevus. This is in black. So I'm going to start at the front of the hook and just tie straight over that wrapped Zonker strips that I've put on. You can add more if you like to make these flies heavier. I like to fish varied situations, so I've just got a bit of a different setup going. So I'm going to grab that pearl Veevus Tinsel next, and I'm just going to tie this in. I want a nice clear tie-in. This is actually going to become my back shell casing. So just tie that up at the front, bring it back. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure you keep a nice clean taper to it. You can even stick something on the back to keep it from holding down. Next up, I'm going to take some wire tinsel here. This is in copper, and I'm just going to tie, I think this is an extra small, and I'm just going to tie some in. This will become my rib material. So I'll tie that in on top of the pearl tinsel. So once I've completed that, I can start dubbing. I'm going to use an SLF Squirrel dub in a dark gray to start off. So I'm going to take some out, and for the back I'm going to want to keep it nice and tight. So I'll keep very tight, thin, compressed dubbing wraps. So just spin that onto the hook there. It's better to start out with too little and add more than to add on too much and potentially ruin your fly. So we'll just start up nice and thin, keeping in mind that the thinner the profile your fly has in the water, the more likely it is to sink nicely. So that's just another thing that you want to keep in mind. So I'm just going to wrap this up the hook. Keep it nice and easy. Bring this around. Dub some more on. Just spin it nice and tightly with your two thumbs. My fingers don't seem to be working today. So once you get about to the middle, I'm going to add just a little more. We can take out some different colors. You can keeping the gray, or you can add an orange or a golden stone style color. But in this case, I'm going to add a custom orange blend. This is again from Hareline Dubbin. I just find that it's a little stringier, and it comes out a little nicer in the fly, especially in a scud style pattern. So I'm just going to dub on a little spot. I'm just going to make a nice small bright patch. So very loosely spun on there. You can even put it in a dubbing loop. I won't for this particular fly. So once I've got the fly to this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this tinsel forward, and I'm actually going to end it right up there. So just put a couple of loose wraps on the tinsel and then tighten it up from there. So I've got this scud looking pattern going. Double the thread back over the tinsel just to make sure you've gotten anything out. From there on, I'm just going to cut that off. Be aware that the tinsel does like to slide off, and I'm going to bring that wire around, making even wraps, probably about 5 or 6 in grand total to go for that scud style fly. I'm going to make sure that I really section off the body, so I'm putting a nice tight wrap in front and behind of that orange. And once I'm done that, I'm going to tie it off, put it nice and tight again. Give that a nice little clip. And just bearing in mind that the tighter I can keep this body laid up, that the quicker it's going to sink in the water. So once I've got it to this point, my fly is just about finished. All I'm going to do is put in a quick dubbing loop here, and I'm going to add in some black SLF squirrel dub. This is just going to give my head a little more of a livelier feel, give a bit of a scud style pattern, or even imitate a caddis or potentially something similar to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw a dubbing loop in there. Doesn't have to be much, just a little, just to top it all off. So I'm going to put a couple tight wraps in there, and I'm just going to spin it around. So now once I've brought it all the way up to the front, I'm going to tie it off, clip the tag end, and I can just clean up this eye a little bit here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of nice tight wraps in the front here, and at this point you're pretty much ready to whip finish. So go ahead, take your whip finisher out, put in a couple of nice tight wraps. What I'm going to do before I've finished tying this fly off is I'm actually going to put a little drop of head cement on it, and then I'm just going to brush out some of the fibers here. So I've clipped that off. I'm going to throw a little bit of head cement on there, and once I've got that, I'm finished here. I'm going to pull out a bit of a dubbing brush here, dubbing comb, and I'm just going to brush this out here. Just bring out some of the fibers some more, give it a bit more of a fishier look. As I'm doing this, I'm actually bringing my hand down, so I'm combing around, so anything that isn't under this pearlescent backing material will stick out a little bit. At this point, you can clip off any of the fibers that are reaching past the hook here, and there we are. So here we've got a scud style Czech Nymph. Very basic pattern here. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and we'll put out some more videos soon. Thank you guys.